to create a dialog box with Javafx. Alright, so let me use we were starting to talk about using Git and VI, right? So I'm gonna write a code on that. So first I'm gonna cd to the Java folder, and then I'm going to create a new Java file using the VI text editor. Sometimes we call Vim, VIM. Okay. So it's pretty much just, if you use Unix, Vim is gonna give you a colorful, like just like green, purple, like text. Okay, VI in Unix will not give you the color. So last time I showed you with VI, but in Git Bash it's pretty much looking the same here. So we gonna talk about Javafx Dialog. So we're going to create a class named Javafx Dialog. Now this is a Javafx, so we have to extend application. Like applet, you extend JApplet. Javafx, you extend application. And you need to have start as the method instead of main, and the parameter is stage. Okay, it's just an instance name, instance of stage. We name it primary stage. Now we will need to import, right? Javafx dot. Now we need to know the path of application. So let me verify. In IntelliJ, when you do that, it's just automatically imported for you on the application dot application. We also need to import the stage itself. So you can refer to Java doc, right? Like for example, I wonder what's the package for stage. I could just Google for Javafx stage. It should show you the Java doc, and at the top will tell you the package is Javafx stage.stage right there. That's another way to refer to. Now this is pretty much a skeleton of Javafx. Just like when you do hello world, you have public static void main. Like I said, just remember that, right? Now the code is gonna go here. Like if I want to have alert box, I just say alert, like a dialog. You just like when you do scanner, you just need to instantiate an object named alert. In scanner, you do scanner keyboard equals to new scanner system.in. So this is pretty much just alert type. So to tell that what type of the dialog that we want to show. Okay. So let's try to run this program first. So I have to escape out, colon the build queue, write and quit. So we're going to compile this file. So if then errors, so we have to go in and fix it. So alert is the problem because I never import alert, right? So again, we can refer to scene.control, right? That's where the alert is resides. And I also need alert type, alert.alert type. So it's come from alert anyway, so just one package should be enough. So this one just alert.alert type. So import Javafx dot again scene.control dot alert. So you're gonna recompile this again. No errors, right? We gonna run this one just like the way that you used to do when you do on a CMD. And now we have to see why it's not showing anything, right? So it's freezing a little bit. So let's see what we're missing then. Maybe just close it. So we can do the cat is a command to just print out the contents of the file. Like I want to print out the content of this file out, then I can see. Now I start to compare if we're missing anything. That's one thing that you want to add, maybe the main that I didn't add, like the main method. Okay, let me try adding that. Because we are running on the console, it's different than running with IntelliJ. So we gotta say public static void main, just like the way that we do. To launch we have to put launch. I think it's like some Javafx application. When you run on the console, you require to include the public static main void like that. See that? And then launch args. Okay, and then you still remain the start. And I should do annotation override. Okay. Let me put that too. So now this is VI. Alright, so you still have to remember the command for that. Like I for insert. Then I can insert in between the line right there. Alright, so let's recompile again when you change. And we're going to try to run again. Seems like it doesn't show anything. So what we gotta do, we gotta check the code and see what happens. Cat Java Dialog. right, so I'm going to compare, or I can even copy this code and try to run on IntelliJ and see what is wrong. So we import, and there's no errors. Looks fine. Extends application. Oh, I see what's wrong. Because I never make it to show. That's what it is. Because I only create an object, right? I never use the method to make show. Like that. By default, it's not going to show, right? Alright, so let's recompile. It's just, the program is running, but it's just instantiate an object. There you go. So we just show the information dialog, right? So now if you want to display a message, we use the method just like the way that we did with scanner. We do dot next to reading and so on. We do dot show to show the dialog, right? Now if we want to set up the contents, we had to say set. Now you can set the title. Set the title, pretty much just set the title of the window that pop up, right? And this is the method. Let's say we gotta say matrix system converter. When you change, you just recompile and rerun. And set title will change the title. And this is set header contents. And if you want to set the contents, you can set the content. So just like the way that I have on my program here. Let me close this out. So we can set the header text and set content text. So let's go back to the code and fix that. So now it depends on how you want to show the dialog to show. So the message is going to be set under the alert.set content text. Right. And then you can do alert to tell the user. Like now, our program is value height. Let's say if the user put inches, we want to change to centimeters is, and then we just concatenate with the values. Like now, we don't have that value yet because we didn't do the calculations. So I will need to declare variables to hold values, right? Like height in cm, like centimeters, which I didn't declare yet. I will just need to go to the beginning of the program and declare it. So you should declare all the variables before you use. Type is double. And height in cm. And now I'm going to pretty much just put something for now, 180.5 centimeters. So just give me the values for now. just to test if it's showing properly. So we're going to recompile this and rerun this program. Your height in centimeters is okay. Now we could change the header text, right? So how do we change the header text again? Go to alert, right? That's the method, right? Alert represent that alert box that we see. Set header text. Like if you don't want, by default say message, you don't want that, you can just change the message. Right. Like it could be inches, feet and inches to centimeters. Converter. So when you set that, it's pretty much it's going to change the dialog contents. So and that's pretty much how you use the dialog to show the message in Javafx. And this is the information type when we do the alert type, and we set as information. So now if you want to have different dialog, you can just set the type to like warning. It's going to exclamation mark instead of the information I, or the errors. It's going to be rate. So dialog can be different. So now any question on how do you create a dialog with Javafx? Okay. Now the next question is how we can make the dialog to move into different location, right? So now it's always centered to screen. If you want it to show in different location, if you look at this, the object is an alert, right? Alert is an object that represents the whole dialog that you can set title, set header, set content, and make it to show. Same thing happen is you could set the location before it shows. Set. So X represent like our monitor screen. We have X, which is the horizontal line. Y is vertical line, right? So if I say X0, Y0 is going to be at the top left corner. So if you want it to show at the top left corner, then you say set X to 0. And then the same thing, you can set Y, X and Y location to pop up on the monitor screen. Now let's try to see if that works. So we're going to recompile this and rerun this. So we move it to top left corner, right? So that's how you move the location of the dialog. So now if I wanted to go to the top right corner, so I pretty much just need to change it, change the X, right? Because Y is going to still at 0. So X is controlling location like horizontally. Now if I don't know what should be a magic number that I will replace 0. This one depending on different computer has different screen resolution setup. So how would we know that? You can always go to display, right, settings, and look at the properties to see the number. But this number is only valid for my screen. my computer, technically, right? So go back in. I want to go to display settings, right click on the desktop for Windows, and you can see it's set at 1600, which is X, 900, which is Y, right? These are pixels. So if I go back to my code, I can set X to 1600. If I do that, what happens? It's gonna go, you're not gonna see it because it's going to start at that location, right? Like 00 start at this and dialog go like that. And the same thing is going to start at that and dialog just go off the screen, right? Then you want it actually to start the width side of the dialog right there, right? Which is the 1600 subtract the width side of the dialog, right? Then you see it snap into the right, top right corner. But 1600 is not going to work for different machine if the other machine didn't set at 1600. So that's why Javafx has, like for your assignment, you can just do your magic number, which is fine for now. But if you can use this, then it's going to support any screen, right? Any computer. So Javafx make it easy. They have a screen class that's going to be able to take the resolution. Here, screen dot get primary, get visual bounds. It's going to get the setup of your monitor settings, display settings, and return it as the rectangle shape because it's the rectangle two-dimensional X and Y. And from there, you could get the width and height resolution of display setting from your machine. Which I get it from here. Get width, get height. Those are the method. Okay, so that's what we're going to do then. So I need to put rectangle 2D as an instance variables. We have variables to store the data, so this is store the data of your screen resolution, right? So I'm going to say primary, so it's named screen bounds. I mean, just the name, you can just name anything, right? Equals to, so we have screen dot, right? So screen represent the class that can give you the get primary, get visual bounds. So pretty much you just need to understand this is the methods that will give you a screen resolution X and Y. Okay. So now I could just, let's say, I'm going to declare in screen width, for example, to get, like in this case, go returns 1600 bounds, right? Because my machine set at 1600 for width. But different machine going to be different, right? And then I pretty much just copy this code, and then I can just do the same with height. So you see the code start to develop right? More line of code. So now I get it with and height of the screen. And this whole thing just to make sure that my dialog box can go to the top right corner. So the width is more important. So I could get the screen width to set to X, but the problem is going to be go off the screen. And then I need to subtract the width of the alert box, right? So how do I get the width of the alert box? Alert itself is a dialog, and this dialog happens to be on the top of another content pane. So on another dialog pane, what you need to do, you have to do alert.get dialog pane. Okay, and then get width. So I'm going to declare another int variables, say dialog width, right? And now dialog width should come after alert, right? So I should move my alert to declare at the beginning. So I'm going to move it to the top somewhere there, and then I no longer need this. So I will need to get the alert now. So alert dot get dialog pane, because alert itself is on the top of the dialog pane. So that's why I have to get the dialog pane first and get the width. Now in that case, I could just subtract off the dialog width. So let's see if it's going to snap like to the top right corner. So let's recompile this code. Spelling is wrong, so I have to go and fix that spelling. Get height. Recompile the code. I have to import rectangle 2D and screen. Okay, so come back. You may see when you use IntelliJ, it's going to help importing this for you, but now you just use like VI. You have to import everything manually. So we need to know what's the package for screen. Geometry rectangle 2D. Javafx.stage.screen. And another one is javafx.geometry.rectangle 2D. So those are classes in the library. Let me try to save this. So we try to fix all the errors one by one now. Alright, so get width is the problem. Because it's returned the double, not int, but declares as int. So I will need to go back and change it to double instead of int. And that makes more sense because the width and height of screen should be double value. Escape, right quit. So let's recompile the code again and rerun it. Screen width, cannot find symbol. Pretty much the spelling. We call it, I have 3 E's here, right? Alright, so let's recompile again. No errors now. Let's run. There you go. So snap to the top right corner, right? So that's how you control the location of the dialog, right? Any question on how to use Javafx to display information and control location of the dialog?
Could you go back to the code for a second? Just a quick question. The at override, what's that for?
Yeah, for now, you learn this concept in 201. For now, you just need to do extends application. And override means you override the method start of the application. So for now, like say the skeleton or the structure of Javafx is always like that. So you always gonna have that highlighted part. You can always have this one too. Okay. This is just to tell the compiler that your intention is override. You could omitting it still work. Okay. The word override here. But it's a good practice to have the compiler double check for you.
In your line alert equals new alert. The alert after the parenthesis, I didn't include that in my code.
You mean alert type?
I had the alert type, but the alert right before that, at the very beginning.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one. I didn't include that, but it worked just fine. Does that change anything or?
Oh, because you happen to import it anyway.
Okay.
It just represent this class alert.
Okay.
And yeah, inside that you just refer to alert type. So let's look at alert Javafx Javadoc. So it's under alert, and then they have the alert type. Alert type is a property of the alert class. And it's just pretty much just tell, we are talking about enumeration soon. This is like enumeration. So it's just like when you create the type, normally we have primitive type, right? There's a double in and so on, right? But you could create your own type, like a month, January, February, March, and so on too. Or you can create your own type as the alert type, information type, warning type, confirmation type. So that's just a concept of enumeration. It is an enumeration inside the alert class. It's pretty much another class inside this class, and they call it nested class.
Okay, I imported both that and without the alert type at the end, so I used both.
So if you want to refer to the class, it should be fine. Like now, when you refer to alert, you try to refer to alert type, which is resized inside the alert class. Alert type has enumeration values. So how do you use it without that? You said
I guess how I did it.
you just do alert type like that, right?
Yeah, but I imported both.
Yeah, when you
alert
and alert type.
Yeah, so it's imported.
If you do that, you have to do, like I said, it's fine to do that, but you're required to import alert, right? And alert type like that.
Okay. Yeah, I have both.
Yeah, it's gonna be working just fine. Just the same. But you just need to import that class since you want to use that class. But if I don't import, then you can use dot to access to it, because alert type is an inner class of alert class.
Okay.
It's like a class inside the class. Like I have Javafx Dialogue class. Inside this curly braces, I could create another class, just like create methods, right? Okay, so for now, like I said, if you remember, you could do without alert in front, but you have to write the import statement here, right? To import the class, all the classes that you try to use, you always have to import, right? Alert type is under that package, so you have to alert type. And then you're not required to call alert anymore. Before I have to call alert because I didn't import, so I just refer to alert type inside. And this should be just fine. And it's still run, right?
Yeah. Mine worked properly. I just wanted to know the reason.
Yeah, just explain, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the reason.
I got that.
Now, we need to get the input dialogues, right? To take the user input. To get the input dialog, you pretty much just going to modify this code, right? Like I said, this VI is not required yet at this point, but when we get to chapter 3 section, which is soon, I mean maybe by next week, you start to have to write your VI. It's required. Okay. To submit using VI. Okay. Then you should get yourself familiarized with this. That's why I start to show you from here. Then you see how it works instead of relying on your IntelliJ. Now we're going to show you how to create the input dialog, like J option pane show input, right? Message. So in J option pane, it's so easy to use, right? One line of code, right? So in JavaFX, it's actually the same concept like alert. What you need to do is you just need to know what's the class name, and the class name to do dialog we call TextInput Dialog. You create an instance, right? And if you put a default value in constructor, it's going to show as the default, like gray out, as the one that default value enter for you when you run. And the rest pretty much the same. You can set title, set header, set content, just like alert, set location, X and Y, show and wait. Now the difference now, instead of show, we want to show and wait, because we want to wait until the user entered information in, right? That's why we do show and wait before we just show for the information, because we don't wait until the user enter information in. Just like scanner, when you run, it's going to wait until you enter something in from the keyboard, right? Just the same concept right there. Now the difference also is just like the option pane, that after you entered all the information that you enter from the dialog, those are string, right? For the option pane. For text input dialog, it's going to be optional string. Okay, as a type. Then we need to get, like, for string itself, you pretty much just get the contents. But for optional string, it's just like a method again. That's why, do you want to get the string out, you have to do .get right there. Okay, so let's try that. So we said text input dialog, right? So we're going to create an object, but now we need to import this. So we need to know the package for text input dialog. So it's under javafx.scene.control, right? So .scene.control dot text input dialog, right? So now we just import, we want to create an object of text input dialog. It's pretty much just similar way that you do with scanner. You have to, this lab step we call instantiation. You have to instantiate an object text input dialog, and the default values just go inside the constructor. Let's just give the default like, so this is feet and inches, right? 2 centimeters. So we're going to give default like 5 feet. I happen to enter on a key. So now I use VI, right? So if I want to undo with VI, they should have on the cheat sheet that I provide you, should tell what's the key that we can use for undo. Like now, I'm going to show you where the cheat sheet is. So once you log onto our class Blackboard, right? So I provide under menu cheat sheet. Also, if you don't have an access to it, you can just Google for VI, right? Command, basic VI commands. So again, I want to do undo, right? Let's see if they have undo. So you're gonna do, when you do u, lowercase u, undo whatever you just did. So let's see, I do escape first to get to the command mode and do u. So just undo, stand, right? U stand for undo. Alright, so now I have to go to edit mode again by hit I and 5 feet. Let's just use a symbol. 5 feet 10 inches, like that. Okay, as the default values. Now this is the time that we want to use what? An escape sequence, right? Because otherwise it's going to be confusing with the actual quotation for the string, right? Double quotation and the symbol for inches, right? In math, they just use the quotation too, right? So that's going to be default values for text input, which I could just make the dialog to show and wait. Right, so like I said, show and wait will return optional string. So we have to create a variables, right? Like input height. So let's say height input, which we have to import everything that we use, which is an optional. Optional should be under java.io if I recall correctly. So let's just test first that we can see the dialog. It looks like the package is wrong, right? So let me verify. Like I said, you could always look at java.util, not io. Okay, so I just need to fix this to the correct package. So let's try again. There you go. So the default value is filled up, right? Then that's the dialog. And the same concept, you can do set X and set Y to move the dialog into any location on the screen, right? Alright, so now that's the default values, but you can always enter different, right? But the program will not do anything yet because I mean it's supposed to convert and show you how in centimeter is, but our algorithm is not done yet, right? This is just to show you how to get the input dialog and display the output dialog right away, right? So to get the algorithm to work, but by the way, you could set the title, set the content, and so on. I'm going to skip that part, which we already know how to do that, right? Like set header title, set title, set header text on the text input dialog, right? And set content text too, right? Set X and Y, same principle. But now I want to show you how we're going to read the input in and put into logic, right? So the input that we have now is under height input. So we have to do height input dot get, which is it's going to return string, right? It's going to be a string. So if I declare a string to hold the values, height. So now can we actually calculate this string? How do we convert height from centimeters, from inches to centimeters? According to our class exercise here, I already provide you the formula how to do that under 2.3 section. So the formula is telling us that to convert inches to centimeters, you multiply by 2.54, meaning that we have to convert feet to inches first and add that to the inches portion, right? So feet to inches pretty much just multiply by 12, right? After I get inches, then multiply by 2.54, you get centimeters. So Now we get a height, right? The complete height, feet and inches in the height. We need to read this, and we have to use the method of the string to help. String is a class. We want to get a substring, right? So we have a method called .substring. So substring is gonna read. So like this whole thing you will never know because you're very new to this. But like I try to tell you, the concept is just like that. You always get the methods, right? So when you use VI, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to, hey, which method should I use? But when you use the IntelliJ, like if I say height is a string, right? When you do dot, it's going to give you the list of the methods to Javadoc. But VI, you can do the same by, you know, this is string, but you have to do manually. Go to search string Javadoc, and you start to read all the method summary right there to see what should be a good method and why we need a method. Because we are looking for, user is going to enter like this, right? 5 feet and 10 inches, right? But we want only substring of the first one because the first portion is 5 feet. And then we only want 10. We get 5 times 12 and add by 10. Then we get all the inches, right? So that's why we need to use the method of string to help. You can use char add too, just like what we learned. Char add 0 is going to return you 5, right? And then char add, this is char add 1 and char add 2, right?
Would char add 2 return just the 1 or 10?
10.
Okay.
Because each of these are the characters, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're right. Char add 2 may return 1. You're right. It's going to return 1. We want this. So that's why substring is going to help, because we want a subset of the whole string. So for the first part, we could say let's say string height. This is the in portion of the height, right? Equals to, we can say height dot char add. So it could work, right? Because we know it's always going to be the first one, right?
Missing an E.
And then for the second one, we want to get the height. Oh, actually this is in feet, right? And the second one is in inch, right? Inches. Now what should be the method? So let's look at the method. So we said we want to get a 10. And it could be 1 digit too. It could be 5 feet 6 inches. That's gonna be a little bit challenge, right? We don't know the size, right? And the height also, it could be char at 0 will not work. It could be 10 feet, right? If I do char at 0, it's always give me a first digit. So char at is not an appropriate method to use. We could see last index of the quotation, and then we do substring of from the beginning to the last index of that single quote and double quote. That's another way to look at, because substring will start from the beginning index to end index. All right, so then let me just fix this. I prefer to use substring instead. Like I said, feet could be 10 feet, right? So we start from 0 for sure, beginning index, to last index, right? Last index, because last index of the single quote, right? That's represent the feet. Last index of, and this is going to be a single quote, which is escapes again. So this should give you the feed portion. And now we want to do the same with substring. And now let's read the substring a little bit. Substring is said, like for example, if I do 4 and 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it start at U, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's excluding the last one, index R, with 8. It's not including R. So I want to start this at the index. Last index of the single quote, but I can't just get the single quote location because I don't want single quote. It's going to include it plus 1. Let's go get to that number 1, right? And then I want it to get up to the height dot last index of double quote, and it's not including double quote, which is perfect because we don't want double quote, right? We only want 1, 0, right? This portion. All right, so what we're going to do also, we're going to do system.out.print to see if this is the actual value that printing out correctly as we expected. Okay, so height inches. All right, so let's write and quit and recompile the program. We're missing the double quote in there because I escaped, but I didn't put the double quote. All right, let's recompile again. Height.substring. Can I find symbol? Did I spell height correctly? Substring, is it lowercase? Yeah, it's lowercase s. So that's why. So just be careful, Java is case sensitive, right? Now we're going to run this. Missing A in the Java command. Okay, let's see. There you go. It's get 5 and 10. That's what I want. See that? Now I'll be able to separate the feet and inches, right? By using the substring method, right? So next step, you see when I write program, I have to test one by one. Then I'm ready to calculate. So how do I calculate this? Technically, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to put a comment. right? I use that just to test to see if I get it out correctly. So we know 5 is going to be the feet portion. So we're going to say string like inches, right? We get everything into inches and multiply, I think, by 0.259, right? To get the centimeters, 2.54. So we're going to multiply to 2.54 by using asterisk. That's a symbol for multiplication. And what we try to multiply, we try to multiply the height, right, in feet, which is times 12. You just convert into inches, plus height inches. Like that's going to give you 5 times 12, 60, plus 10, 70 inches, right? And we can do, if you're not sure, you can put parentheses to do multiply first. But in Java, it's always just like the order, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication. So it's going to multiply first before it adds, which is perfect, right? And then we do add the group and multiply that last. Now we get everything in inches. Then we should be able to convert into, now this should not be no longer string, right? It should be double, because the problem is we cannot do string times 12 yet, right? You have to use parser. Parser is a converter, like you can do convert parse double, like convert the height in feet in string to double. So same as I want to convert this. Now let's try to see how we gonna use, I want to copy just this portion, right? In VI, if I want to copy text, so this is called deleting, changing, oops. You can change, but I want to, this is cut and paste. You can do YY. Let's see if I want to copy. Deleting, changing, inserting, adding, undo, use U. So these are just the basic, okay? So let's see VI, copy and paste. So you can position the cursor where you want to be being cutting. Press V to select the characters, or uppercase V to select whole line. So we want to do lowercase v. Okay. And then move cursor to the end. Press D to cut, or Y to copy. Move to where you like to paste and press P to paste before the cursor. Okay. So let's try. So I put a cursor where I want and press V. Let's do escape first, right? Press V and move the cursor. I want to copy this whole up to this point. And then I want to copy, so I do Y. And now I want to paste right here. I do P. There you go. But if I do lowercase p, it's going to be after the cursor. So let me undo. I have to do uppercase P before the cursor. Right, so I just convert double.parse double. So this one will get convert, and then we're going to put parentheses. Right, we have to convert into double first, then it can be manipulate. which is it's going to have to add. I don't need this extra parenthesis. Double dot parse double, which is height in feet times 12 plus height in inches and multiply by 2.54. Now we get the inches out. That means after we get the inches, we should be able to convert into height in centimeters right there, right? By replacing this value with inches times 2.54, right? According to the formula, right? Actually, that should just do in inches, since I say inches. So I will multiply 2.54 to centimeters right here instead. Okay. All right. So now we're going to recompile this and rerun this. No error, which is a good sign. And so let's just use this and see if it's going to give you, yeah, it's convert to 177.8 centimeters. So let's try again. So I say 1 feet, 1 feet. Okay. It's going to be a problem because it's required us to put inches portion. So it's going to be about 30 centimeters, right? 1 feet. Is that right? Let's just do 0.48. So it looks like the program working fine now. And that's how you use VI to write Java code and use Javafx to get user input and do calculations and display the output on the dialog with Javafx. Questions? We can also control location, right? With set X and Y. All right, so I'm going to stop